Hey guys, Hitman89 here, and welcome to my honest review on Far Cry New Dawn. This is a spin-off of the Far Cry series. It's developed and published by Ubisoft, and it comes out on February 15th, so tomorrow, on PC, Xbox One and PS4. So Far Cry New Dawn is a standalone sequel to Far Cry 5, meaning you don't need to have the original game to play New Dawn. Now the game takes place in a post-apocalyptic version of Hope County, and I said post-apocalyptic because, spoiler alert, even though we should have finished Far Cry 5 by now, the game takes place 17 years after the nuclear exchange, aka the collapse. So the survivors try to rebuild the community in Hope County, but the highwaymen, a bunch of organized bandits led by these twin sisters, threaten your existence. And now that you know what the game is about, let's start this review with the graphics. First of all, this review was shot on PC, and the game obviously uses the same engine as Far Cry 5, but I feel like there have been some improvements because New Dawn looks slightly better, at least in my opinion. And also the art design is really interesting because for a post-apocalyptic world, it's very colorful. Oh, and by the way, the environments are really good. There have been many moments where I just had to stop and look around and enjoy the beauty of this game. The character faces look amazing, especially the main characters, and the animations are also good except for the lip sync, but we'll talk about that more in detail in a second. Last but not least, performance-wise, New Dawn runs slightly worse than Far Cry 5, but anyways, I'm gonna give the graphics a 9 out of 10. Moving on to the sound, we're gonna start with the music, and the soundtrack is made by John Swihart and Tyler Bates. If you don't know these guys, then fucking look them up, I guess. Anyways, I'm gonna let you listen to the sound effects and background music for like 15 seconds before we talk about the dialogues. Now, before we talk about the voice acting, let's talk about the lip sync in-game at least, because during cutscenes, it's perfectly fine. I didn't notice any issues. But have a look at this guy, for example. His lips keep on moving whether he's singing or not. Now in dialogues, it's not as bad as this, but it's not perfect either. That being said, the voice acting is awesome. You know, we've got some hilarious characters, and the game is available in many languages. You know, we've got English, French, Italian, etc. You can see all the languages here. And by the way, I tried French right before shooting this vid, and I can confirm that the voice acting is as good as the one on the English version. So I'm gonna give the sound an 8 out of 10, and I'll let you listen to some dialogue. I mean, your character doesn't talk, so it's actually just an NPC talking to you. But anyways, I'll let you listen to that before we talk about the gameplay.
Blade, and you know, maybe she'll introduce me to one of her hot lady friends, like an ex-highwayman who's looking for a fresh start in his DTF. Hey Blade, DTF means down to fuck, buddy. DTF.
Now when it comes to the gameplay, Far Cry New Dawn is kind of a mix between Borderlands and Fallout. It's got some light RPG elements. You probably already saw the damage points, the health bars, all that stuff. Even weapons and enemies have ranks and tiers based on their rarity. You can also upgrade your home base, which then allows you to craft better items. And I have to say that the story is actually good, especially if you played Far Cry 5. Because there are some shocking moments, some memorable stuff, some plot twists too. And by the way, the game has co-op. So when you host the game and you invite your friend, he's basically gonna be replacing the guns for hire companion. You know, the one you get when you play alone. But anyways, let me tell you about some of the stuff that I like about this game. First of all, the expeditions. They're fun to play, they give you crafting materials, and they allow you to leave Hope County because you explore some other areas. You also have the same outpost system from the previous Far Cry games. Actually not exactly the same, because this time you can choose to scavenge or keep a liberated outpost. If you scavenge it, you get more resources, but the enemy takes it over. And if you decide to keep it, then, well, you just keep it, obviously. Anyways, also like the cover system. I think it's a very good thing, especially for an FPS, because usually the ability to shoot without exposing yourself is mostly available in TPS games and not in first-person shooters. Oh, and one more thing, I really like how the game gives you two approaches, you know, stealth or guns blazing, and even the companion you pick should be adapted to the approach you've chosen, because if you pick a guy with a rocket launcher and you want to sneak into a base, it's not really gonna work. And in my opinion, choosing the stealth approach is always a good idea, at least until you get rid of the alarms, you know, when you disable them. Then you can blow shit up and, you know, have fun. Because otherwise the enemy is gonna call for reinforcements and things are gonna get complicated real quick. So unless you're heavily armed, you're gonna get fucked. Plus I feel like, you know, silently killing enemies is more rewarding, which actually takes me to the first thing that I didn't like about the game, the bad AI. Enemies on this game seem to be partially blind and probably deaf too, because I mean, even when I play video games for like 10 hours straight and I go partially blind, I think I'd still be able to see some piece of shit that's crouching in the middle of the room. Anyways, the second thing that I didn't like about the game is bullet sponges. You know, it happens during boss fights. I'm not gonna show you any of that, obviously, because I'm not gonna spoil the game for you. Oh, and before I forget, one more thing that I didn't like is the absence of weapon customization. You know, you can unlock tons of weapons and upgrade them and all that stuff, but you can't customize them, which is a shame. Back to the good stuff now, and since we're talking about customization, you can customize your character. As you can see, I went from an Arab-looking guy to an, I don't know, a cyborg gay Che Guevara, I guess? No, but seriously, you got tons of character customization options. Anyways, the next thing I want to talk about is the perk points and challenges. You have to do challenges in order to get perk points, so the game kinda encourages you to use most weapons, because I honestly wouldn't do that. You know, if I didn't have to accomplish challenges, I would just pick 3 or 4 of my favorite weapons, like for example the AK-47 because I'm Arab. But yeah, I would just use those weapons throughout the whole game. And since I want to unlock most perks, I have to do most challenges and therefore use most weapons. You also have to hunt some rare animals and all that stuff. And the game is challenging, by the way. It's intense and you're gonna be dying a lot, so keep that in mind. And last but not least, the game gives you tons of things to do, like freeing hostages, stealing ethanol trucks, liberating outposts, etc. So I'm gonna give the gameplay a 9 out of 10. Moving on to the game's replayability, and it took me around 11 hours to finish the story missions. Now, if you do most side quests and liberate all outposts and all that stuff, the game's gonna last you between 15 and 20 hours. Plus, you could finish the game alone first and then redo it with a friend, and outposts and expeditions, for example, they're always replayable, even after you finish the game. So I'ma give the replayability an 8 out of 10. Now, when it comes to the fun factor, the game is fun enough when played alone, but it's so much more fun with a friend. There are tons of epic and funny moments, whether they're scripted or just random open world stuff, like when somebody gets attacked by a bear. For some reason, it's always funny to me, or when I realize I suck at driving because whoever's on the passenger seat always ends up dead. And by the way, it doesn't even matter if you play solo, because all the NPCs on this game are hilarious. Long story short, I had tons of fun playing Far Cry New Dawn, so I'm gonna give the fun factor a 9 out of 10. Moving on to the value for money, the game's gonna cost you $40. I mean, for a standalone, that's fine, even though it could have been a $30 DLC. But that would mean that only people who already have Far Cry 5 would be able to play this, so I guess the standalone option makes sense. Oh, and by the way, the game's got some microtransactions, but they didn't bother me that much since they're completely optional. They're just there for those of you who don't want to grind to get crafting materials, even though that should have been through cheat codes, not microtransactions. But anyways, there are tons of things to see and do on Far Cry New Dawn, so I'm gonna give the value for money an 8 out of 10. I honestly enjoyed playing and finishing this game, so if you liked Far Cry 5, or even if you didn't play it at all and you like games like Borderlands and Fallout, then you'll most likely enjoy Far Cry New Dawn. And that's why I'm gonna give it an 8.5 out of 10. That's gonna be it for this review. Thanks for watching, appreciate it a lot. Special thanks to Ubisoft for providing me with a review copy so I can deliver this review on time. And yeah, don't forget to check out my other vids, and if you like them, then please subscribe. It's been Hitman89. See you guys very soon.